So we are going to get started. So we're just going to actually come over to our mat today, and we are going to come on down onto our bellies. So we're going to extend the legs out behind us, and we're just going to bend the elbows, stack the hands, and just place the forehead down on top of the hands. So I want you to just go ahead and kind of wiggle out the hips a little bit. Relax the neck and the shoulders. And just begin to kind of check in with the body. Maybe doing a little scan from the top of the head down to the toes. Just noticing if there's any places that you're holding any tension. Maybe not quite able to let go of yet. So just kind of notice that. And just maybe start to see if you can bring the breath into those areas. Nice big inhale, and then exhale through the mouth. As you inhale, just notice how that belly fills against the floor. Exhaling it all out. Couple of more breaths. And when you're ready, we're slowly going to make our way into child's pose as we gently draw our hands under the shoulders and then gently tuck the toes, come on up onto the knees, and then just bringing those knees underneath the hips, perhaps opening the knees a little wider, big toes to touch as we sit the hips back, reach the arms forward, gently allowing that forehead to come down towards the mat. And again, if that doesn't feel comfortable, going ahead and stacking the hands underneath the face, releasing the forehead down, or perhaps even using a block if that feels good for you as well. You can place the forehead on the block, walk the arms forward, and just noticing how that feels in the low back and the hips as you begin again to find that breath. Inhaling and exhaling. It doesn't have to be any sort of ujjayi breath, but just bringing intention to the breath. As you inhale, feel that belly expand into that space you've created between the thighs. Exhale as you feel the hips sink back towards those heels. Just using our practice today to really pay attention to those parts of the body. That we are working through with each posture today, slowing it down. And then slowly, we're just going to start to prop ourselves up on our fingerprints as we slowly inhale and lift the face away from the mat. As we exhale, let's go ahead and just start to slide the hands over towards the right side of our mat as we walk them over. And then taking another big inhale, just lifting the chest away from the thigh. Exhale as we collapse that chest down towards the thigh, nose towards the right knee. Taking a nice stretch through that left side of the body. If you want to add a little more sensation here, go ahead and prop yourself up on those left fingerprints. Keep that right palm released to the floor. You can just come onto those spider fingers on the right hand, and you might feel a little bit more sensation in that left side of the waist, left side ribs. Again, today, not necessarily pushing any sort of edges, just coming into these postures with mindfulness, with breath. Seeing if you can find a little extra ease in each posture today. And on your inhale, again, slowly coming up onto both fingerprints, lifting the chest, and then exhale as we walk through center and over to the left side of our mat. Again, taking your time in these postures. As we inhale next, we're going to lift that torso away from the thigh, walk those hands a little further towards that left corner of the room. And as we exhale, allow the torso to come down over that left thigh, nose towards the knee. Again, if you want a little extra sensation, propping yourself up on those right fingerprints this time, making a spider fingers. And again, just allowing yourself to find some ease in this posture. Find that feel-good space that allows you to really let go and enjoy the posture. Sometimes, most times, we're moving so quickly through our days that we're not even noticing the breath. We're not noticing that response of the body to the breath. Taking our time to enjoy with each breath how the body reacts on the inhales and the exhales. And on your next inhale, again, coming a little higher off the thigh, coming onto those fingerprints. As we come to the center of the mat again, put the palms down and find your child's pose in the center. Forehead releases, shoulders relaxed, upper back relaxed. And as you inhale, coming up onto all fours. Exhale as you draw those knees back underneath the hips, curling the toes under. On the next inhale, let's lift those sit bones, drop the belly, lift the chin, expand those collarbones forward. And on your exhale, Let's lift those sit bones and find downward facing dog. As we lift the sit bones a little higher, we keep the knees soft, keep the heels lifted, and then go ahead, maybe start to walk your dog as you press one heel down and the other. Just walking that dog out. Perhaps maybe holding one heel down for a couple of breaths and then switching over to the other side. Just pedaling those heels out. And then when you're ready, inhale, let's come up high onto all 10 toes, onto the balls of the feet. Lift the heels, stretch the bottoms of the feet. Keep those knees soft, and on the exhale, sinking or melting those heels back down towards the earth. And when you're ready, let's come down onto the knees and the shins. Let's go ahead and step that right leg forward between the hands. We're going to come high onto the fingerprints. Release the back foot down to the mat. Inhale. Let's go ahead and lift the chest forward. Roll the shoulders back and down. Sinking into that left hip. And you can stay here, or on your next inhale, go ahead and lift those arms alongside the ears, finding a little low lunge. See if you can really take that lower belly, especially right from the pubic bone, pull it up towards the belly button to heart center, so that we take a little bit of that excessive arch out of the low back. Another big inhale as we reach those arms up. This time on the exhale, we're going to twist towards the right, your right, taking your right arm, reaching it across that outside of that right thigh, keeping the arm extended, and just slide your left hand into your back pocket. Take an inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale as you gently twist to open, maybe taking that chin back over the right shoulder. Finding your breath. Taking a moment here to check in with the core, with the belly. Bringing that breath to center body. Good. On your next inhale, again, reaching those arms up and forward above the head. Exhale, and let's bring the hands back down to the mat. Let's curl that back toes under and then step back to your downward facing dog. As you step back, go ahead, pedal those heels out. And again, on your inhale, let's come high onto all 10 toes, lifting those heels as high as you can. Exhale as you melt them back down towards the earth. Let's come back down onto the knees and the shins. And then go ahead and step the left foot between the hands. Coming high onto your fingerprints, release the top of the back foot to the mat. Inhale. As you sink a little bit into that right hip, lift the collarbones to heart center forward. Staying here, or if you like, inhale, sweep those arms up alongside the ears. Avoid dumping your weight into those hips and just kind of letting them go. See if you can pull back a little bit. Roll those shoulders down the back. Really kind of fire up. Pull that pubic bone up to the belly button. Belly button up to heart center. Exhale. Let's go ahead and twist to the left this time. Taking your left arm to the outside, so left wrist to the outside of that left thigh, and just tuck your right hand into your back pocket, your imaginary back pocket. Again, inhale, lengthen. Exhale as you gently twist, maybe taking that chin and that gaze over that left shoulder. Finding that breath and bringing it back to center, back to the core. And exploring your postures. So don't feel as though once you get into a posture, you're fixed. You can go ahead, adjust, make your adjustments. And on your inhale, let's sweep those arms back up overhead. Exhale, hands come down onto the mat. Go ahead, curl the back toes under, and when you're ready, step back and find your downward facing dog. Again, if you need to pedal those heels, very fluid today. We are not trying to make this rigid or precise. We just want to really explore our postures in our body today, giving it the movement it craves. This time coming down onto the knees and the shins. We're going to step our right foot forward again. And we're going to go ahead and heel toe the right foot out a little bit to the right of our mat. Bring our right hand to the inside of the foot. Maybe back that left knee up just a little bit. You can release the top of the left foot onto the mat. And just kind of hold it here for a moment. If you need your block, go ahead. Feel free to put your block under your hands. Prop yourselves up on your fingerprints if you like. Just notice what that feels like. A little wider here in this lunge. Let's go ahead and place that left hand down on the mat, wrist under shoulder, and then we're going to go ahead and open up through that right leg by just taking the right hand to the inside of the thigh. And then just kind of pressing it open just a little bit. That inner edge of that right foot might lift off the mat a little bit. We're just kind of playing with the hip opener here. Nothing too drastic. Just notice how that feels. Good. Go ahead and place that foot back down onto the mat. Inhale, we're going to take that right arm, reach it up, reach those right fingertips up. You can stay here. If you want to take it a little deeper today, feel free to reach back with that right hand, bend the right knee, grab hold of those right toes, and then again sinking into that lunge, rolling that right shoulder back and down. Opening the chest towards the ceiling. A little variation of our lizard pose. Again, finding the breath, being at ease with the breath. If there is any hitches, any glitches, make sure that you are taking the posture back a little bit. Dial it back. All right? Find what works so that you can really find ease in your posture. And then when you're ready, releasing that back foot, if you have it bent and held, release it to the floor, bring that right hand down to the mat. Go ahead and heel toe that right foot back to the center of the mat. Good. We're going to come up high onto our fingerprints and take a big inhale as we lift the chest forward. Exhale as we sit the hips back into our half split pose. You can walk the hands back underneath the shoulders. Go ahead, make any adjustments you need to. And you can even peel those right toes off the mat. Again, taking a big inhale, lift the torso away from the thigh. Extend the spine nice and long. And then as you exhale, you can go ahead and fold over top of the leg. We're not trying to straighten the leg. We're not trying to really nail it into a full-on extension. We just want to keep a little bend in the knee, feel a little awakening in the back of the leg, the hamstring. And at the same time, pushing the hips back, sending that heart center down the shin towards the ankle. Just notice how that feels as you gently try to pull or drag that right heel back, using that right thigh bone, pulling it back in towards that hip socket. As you gently pull the left hip forward, just making those little adjustments to help find those muscles, to help find that stretch. And then slowly dragging that heel back just a little bit so you can place the right foot back down onto the mat. Place the hands on either side of the foot, curl the back toes under, and when you're ready, stepping back to find your downward facing dog. Again, pedaling the heels out if that feels good, maybe wiggling or wagging the tail as you kind of move the hips from side to side. And then bringing it back down onto the knees and the shins. This time we're going to go ahead and step the left foot forward between the hands. Bring that left hand to the inside of the foot and just heel toe the left foot to the left side of your mat. Making any adjustments here. And then just hang out here. Again, coming high onto your fingerprints if you need a block to prop the hands. The hips tend to be what we call the junk drawers of the body. You know, we all have that one drawer in our house where we kind of stuff everything, everything we don't want to deal with. That's kind of like the hips. They're kind of like the junk drawer of the body. So a lot of emotion, a lot of stuff held in the hips. For many, very, very tight, as we tend to sit in those flexed positions all day long at our computers, in our cars, on our couches, watching Netflix. And then if you like, taking that right hand, placing it down onto the mat or a block, and then go ahead and inhale as you take that left arm and reach it up towards the sky. Maybe leaning back just a little as you open the chest. Just noticing how that feels. For anybody out there with some wrist issues, your option too is to always keep the wrist in neutral. If you want to make a fist, place the fist down onto the mat just to keep that weight off the wrist. I know many of us do suffer from that. It's one of the most common complaints I do hear in yoga. Being careful, we don't want to strain the body today. We're just gently putting it in these postures. If you want to go ahead and make this a little deeper, like we did on the other side, bending that left knee, reaching back, grabbing those left toes with the left hand, and again, sinking into your posture as you open and roll that left shoulder back. Yoga is never about perfection. We call it yoga practice, not yoga perfect. And then slowly releasing that back leg down. If you want to go ahead, I know we didn't really open the hip too much on this side. If you want to take that left hand, place it on the inside of your left thigh, and just kind of give a little open, a little press open as we lift that left inner edge of the thigh or the foot, just to give a little opening through that left hip. And then come on back, place that left foot down, and heel toe that left foot into the center of the mat. We're going to come high onto the fingerprints. Inhale as we lift the collarbones forward, open the chest forward, sinking into that right hip. And as we exhale, let's pull the hips back, peel the left toes off the mat, walk those hands back underneath the shoulders. Again, inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale as you fold over that left thigh. Now being careful here not to back the hips up too much, otherwise you take that activation off of that front leg. So make the adjustments you need to. If you kind of need to walk that left foot forward a little bit, then go ahead and peel back. Again, a little bend in that knee or a lot of a bend, depending on the flexibility today, depending on the sides. It's always different. Again, if you need to do an inhale, lift the belly away from the thigh, extend and lengthen the spine. Exhale into your fold. Just enjoying the stretch, enjoying how that feels in the body, not straining. The best indicator of your stretch is your breath. Notice, is the breath even? Is it flowing? Is it hitched? If you're really hitching or holding the breath, maybe the posture is a little too deep. Come on out of it and find that beautiful edge that you can kind of ride and sink into. And on the inhale, let's go ahead, drag the heel back a little bit, place that left foot back down. Hands come to frame that foot at the top of your mat. Curl the back toes under. Take an inhale. And on your exhale, step back to find your downward facing dog. Again, maybe go ahead, pedal those heels out. Good work. Let's go ahead and come down onto the knees and the shins. I'm going to switch this up a little bit just so you can see me, but let's go ahead and step that left leg forward again between the hands. We're going to come up onto those right toes, spin the right heel down towards the mat, and then we're just going to pinwheel those arms up and find warrior two. So from here, I'd like you to just check out the feet. Make sure that your front heel is kind of in line with your back arch. Make your stance nice and wide, and then just go ahead and bend into that left knee, stack it over the ankle. All right, I just want you to go ahead and place your hands into the creases of your hips. Just notice here a couple of times, as you come into that warrior two, see if you can sink your back hip, your right hip down, and lift sink your right hip down and lift your left hip up, okay? A lot of times we just kind of come into this posture, dump ourselves here. Let's really try to concentrate on sinking the back hip and lifting the front hip. And once you've got that and it feels good, go ahead and just extend the arms out, reaching out through each of the fingertips. Relax the shoulders. Notice if you have those shoulders being worn as earrings, just kind of relax them down. Maybe even roll the shoulders back and down. Plant down through both feet. Good. And then on your next exhale, let's find our side angle posture. We're going to bring that left forearm to the left thigh. We're going to turn and open, floating that right arm up above the right shoulder. Again, taking a moment to find the posture here as we plug down through both feet. Maybe a little press of those hips forward. If you like, you can stay here, or perhaps you want to try something a little different. You can slide that left hand down to the left ankle and then go ahead and open. One of my favorite ways here to do this side angle. See if you can maybe open that top arm just a little bit more. We won't stay here too long today, but just bring a little heat to the legs and the body. Good. Look to the top of that left foot, and then slowly come back up to find your warrior two. And then go ahead, straighten through that left leg. Turn those left toes towards the side of your mat. So we're in a straddle position. We're going to bring those toes, and we're going to bring them in almost like a little pigeon-toed. Heels out slightly. I'd rather you a little pigeon-toed than having your toes pointing out at 45 degrees, okay? So either the toes point directly towards the screen or towards me, or even pigeon-toed just a little bit. Let's bring the hands to the hips. Let's inhale, roll the shoulders back and down, squeeze the elbows together. And as you exhale, let's forward fold over. Good. So I want you to think about keeping the weight in your hips, keeping your hips between the heels, okay? So if you feel so much weight back on the heels and you're able to lift and wiggle those toes, you need to shift that weight forward a little bit. Bring the hips in line with the heels. Place some even distribution of weight through each foot. And then I want you to go ahead and just start to walk the hands forward in front of you like you were doing a down dog. Inhale and exhale. So it's kind of like a down dog, but with a straddle legs. Little bend in those knees if you need to. If you need a block here, you can always place a block underneath the hands to bring the floor a little closer to you. Remember to use those yoga props to get the most out of your practice. Just finding the breath a few times here. And when you're ready, slowly start to walk the hands back under the face. Good. Take an inhale. Let's come up onto our fingerprints. Lengthen the spine forward. Bend into the knees. And as we exhale, let's start to walk towards the right. Finding a lunge, which would be towards the back of your mat this time. Good. We're going to pivot that left heel down this time. And then when you're ready, pinwheel the arms up to find warrior two. So we're bending into the right knee. We're towards the back of our mat this time. So again, just check out the feet. So front heel in line with the back arch. Take a moment here, maybe place your hands into the creases of your hips. Again, practice a few times as you bend into that right knee. Think about lifting the right hip and sinking the left hip. Okay, again, just being mindful, taking these couple of times here to really find what that posture should feel like. And once you're there, then you can go ahead, reach the arms up in line with the shoulders, reach through the fingertips. Again, notice those shoulders as they relax down the back. Again, finding the grounding through both feet. And then let's find that extended side angle on this time, let's find the side angle on this side as we bring the right forearm to the thigh, and then go ahead and float that left arm over top of that left shoulder, reaching up. Maybe a little press of those hips forward or to the side of your mat, long edge of your mat. And you can stay here, or if you want to go ahead and slide that right hand down towards the ankle, grabbing hold of the ankle. Again, finding that posture, making any little adjustments you need to. If it's really a little tough on the neck to look up, go ahead and just bring the eyes down towards the floor. Find your grounding. If you're feeling a little unstable, go ahead and really press down into the feet. Core to floor, floor to core. And then go ahead and look at the top of the right foot. Release. And come on up to warrior two. Find that warrior two again as you sink in. Sink the back hip, the left hip, lift the right hip. Good. And then go ahead and straighten through that right leg. Turn the right toes to the long edge of your mat. A little pigeon-toed, heels out. Hands come to the waist. Inhale, roll those shoulders back and down. Squeeze those elbows together. And as you exhale, forward fold. This time we're going to slide our hands down, grabbing hold of our ankles, bending into the knees. So really bend those knees a lot. You can grab hold of those ankles if you can, or the backs of the calves. Taking an inhale, lengthen the spine forward. And on the exhale, then you can go ahead and just play with straightening those legs any amount as you take the crown of the head over towards the floor. Again, noticing where your weight is. Bringing that weight a little forward so the hips are between the heels. Press down into those big toe pads. Feel your arches lift. And once you feel your arches lift, notice how that engages your inner thighs. Pulling that belly button up towards the spine. Lengthening the spine as much as possible. So if this isn't accessible to you today, go ahead and just place your hands on a block. Allow the crown of the head to release. Rather than really trying to round the spine into a C position, see if you can keep the length. Take an inhale, lengthen. Bend into the knees again. Lengthen that spine forward. As you exhale, go ahead and fold back into it. See if you can keep some length in the spine. Again, these poses do not have to be static today, okay? You can move around in them a little bit. Adjust yourself. Come back. Bend the knees one more time. Find that length in the spine without cranking the neck forward. Keep the eyes down. And then as you exhale again, go ahead and straighten out through the legs as much as possible. They don't have to be dead straight. Maybe the elbows are out, pointing to the front and back of your mat as you use those hands to gently pull yourself over. And then when you're ready, bend the knees, place the hands underneath the face, coming high onto the fingerprints. Inhale as you lengthen forward. Halfway up, exhale this time as we walk to the left, finding the top of our mat again, placing the hands down to frame that top foot. And then when you're ready, stepping back to find your downward facing dog. Go ahead, pedal your heels out. Wag your tail if you need to. Good. Coming down onto the hands and the knees. Go ahead, open the knees nice and wide. Big toes come to touch as we sit it back into child's pose, Balasana. Reaching those arms forward, releasing the forehead, that third eye between the eyebrows, down to the mat. And then slowly making your way up onto all fours. And we're going to bring it onto one hip and just bring those legs forward in front of us as we come to sit up nice and tall. I'm going to have you grab your yoga block. And if you don't have a yoga block, then perhaps you've got something of the same consistency or a couple of books that you can stack behind you there. We're just going to go ahead and extend our legs out in front of us. The yoga block is behind us, about 6 inches or so, depending on the length of your arms. Just go ahead and kind of maybe roll from side to side, kind of pull a little bit of that flesh away from the sit bones so we can feel those sit bones ground down into the mat. We're just going to take our hands behind and place them on the block. Just give ourselves a little bit of a chest opener here. You may need to play with the block a bit to find that distance that works. Fingers face the hips. And we're just going to go ahead and start to squeeze the elbows together. Kind of roll the shoulders back and down. Elbows are bent to start here as we start to open through the chest. So we're really going to start to really spread those collarbones open. Pressing those elbows or squeezing them together a little bit. As you bend the elbows, they are going to kind of flail out to the side just a little bit. That's okay. And then let's go ahead and bend the knees, drag the heels in. Take an inhale. And as we exhale, go ahead and start to press the heels back out again as you straighten through the legs. And perhaps you can even straighten through the elbows a little bit more. As you push the chest forward, open and spread the collarbones. Relax the face. Notice if you've got any crunching around the face going on or any grimacing, all right? If that's happening, then that's not the goal of today's practice at all. So you want to go ahead and relax it a little bit. Soften the face, soften the gaze. And then go ahead and release the arms, bring them around, shake them out, maybe shake the wrists out a little bit. And then if you like, making your way over on to your knees. And you can face the long edge of your mat. All right, so we are going to bring our knees together. And you can kind of walk them over, if you like, towards the left side of your mat. Okay, or towards the left of your mat. And you're just going to go ahead and sit down onto your right hip, okay? So the knees are going to kind of separate a little bit. Take a look back. Grab those right toes and kind of place them to cradle into the arch of your left foot. So we have a little bit of a cradle going on there, okay? You can adjust the hips. We're just taking it to mermaid pose, a nice little side stretch today. So you are balancing or sitting on that right hip, okay? We're going to take the left forearm and just place it on top of the thighs. You can take your left hand, kind of wrap it around that right thigh. And then when you're ready, just leaning into that forearm, pressing it down into the arms, go ahead and reach that right arm up And maybe just by reaching up, you really feel that stretch through the right side of the body. The more you press down into that forearm, the more of a reach and a twist you can get through that right side as you reach up and feel that opening. If that gaze up bothers the neck, go ahead and just gaze down towards the thighs, towards the forearm. And then slowly releasing that top arm down. And then you can sort of release yourself up a little bit. Just notice how that feels in that right side. And then just making your way again onto your hands and knees. This time, just go ahead and kind of shift those legs over towards the right. And then bring yourself down onto that left hip this time. Okay, again, your knees are going to separate a little bit. Go ahead, take a look back. See if you can cradle the left toes in the arch of that right foot this time. Again, make any adjustments you need to with the hips. Right forearm lays across the thighs. And then when you're ready, you can go ahead and reach that left arm up. And take a moment here again. Just notice the shoulder, especially that bottom shoulder. What's it doing? Is it kind of crunching up towards the earlobe? If so, go ahead, press the forearm down into the thighs. You can use that right hand to grab hold of that left thigh. You can even add a little twist to it as you really reach up, really lifting that bottom part of the chest, the right side of the chest, up towards the ceiling. Again, playing with the gaze. If looking up is fine for the neck, you can stay here. Maybe even close the eyes. Just notice the breath. Or turn the gaze down towards the thighs. Take that tension out of the neck. Reaching up through those fingertips. Just kind of letting the breath be your music today. As you just really concentrate on listening to that, noticing if there's any hitching, any stress in the breath. We want to alleviate that and just make it smooth and even. And then go ahead and release that top arm down. Good. This time we're just going to go ahead and bring those legs forward. I want you to grab a blanket if you have one. Hopefully you do. And we're just going to use our blanket to sit on today. So I'm going to just kind of fold this over, make it a little higher. I'm just going to place it under my hips and sit on the blanket just to bring my hips up a little bit today. I am going to keep my, actually, you know what, we're going to do a twist today. I was actually going to do something else, but I think our mermaid was good enough today for that. So let's go ahead and extend our left leg forward. And we're going to cross our right foot over onto the opposite side of that leg. You can go ahead and bring your left heel in towards your bum if you like. All right, we're just going to do a gentle spinal twist here. So our right fingertips come behind us in line with our tailbone. We're going to inhale, reach that left arm up. And as we exhale, we're going to gather up that right knee, right leg with that left arm. Take another inhale, lengthen. And as we exhale, go ahead and take a little twist towards the back of the room. Inhaling long, exhaling into your twist. Drawing that belly in, bringing that breath back to center body, back to the core as you inhale. And exhaling softly. And slowly go ahead and reverse out of it as we come all the way out. Extend those legs forward, shake them out. Let's leave that right leg forward this time. We're going to cross the left leg over, and you can tuck the right heel in towards the bum if you like, or leave it extended, whatever works. This time, left fingertips come behind us in line with your tailbone. We're going to inhale, reach the right arm up, and then exhale as you go ahead and gather up that left leg. Inhale, let's lengthen first before we rush into the twist, and then exhale as you come into your twist. Again, notice how the sides will differ. One side probably a little tighter than the other, completely normal and natural. One more big inhale to lengthen. Exhale to twist. And then when you're ready, slowly unwinding as we come all the way out of it. Go ahead, take those legs forward, just kind of shake them out again. And then you can bring yourself off of that blanket. And we're going to create a little bit of a build here so that we can do a nice little heart opener. So I would like you to take your blankets, if you have one or two of them. I'm going to use my blankets instead of my bolster today. If you have a bolster and you want to use the bolster for this, then go ahead. All right, we're going to either lay the blankets or the bolster across the mat lengthwise like this, or widthwise, until it's Sunday. My choice of words and my brain is a little off today, but it's okay. And then we're going to bring ourselves back over top of these blankets or this bolster so that the blankets are kind of between or across that upper back. Okay, so cross the upper back enough so that then we can relax the shoulders and the head back off of the blankets. So we're really feeling a heart opener here. So your chest is open and lifted. And then go ahead and reach the arms back overhead. So just being careful here that you're not feeling any discomfort in the low back. Okay, if you are, then maybe what you're using is a bit too high. So go ahead, either remove a blanket or go from the bolster to the blankets. And we're just going to notice the breath here. So I want you to still notice on the inhales as you fill the belly. And as you exhale, the belly sinks down and up. So there's a lot of energy, a lot of flow up the spine here. And then if you like, maybe you can go ahead and bend those elbows like goalposts at 90 degrees if that feels good. Taking a couple of breaths here. Notice that opening through the chest. Again, relaxing the muscles on the face. And then go ahead and just bend the knees, place the feet onto the mat. And then we're just going to go ahead and roll to one side nice and slowly as we gently help ourselves up. And then come to a seated position, whatever that looks like for you today. Again, if you want to go ahead, use one of your blankets underneath the hips to bring yourself up a little taller, just to keep some relaxation in those hips today. And we're just going to do a little bit of a breathing practice. So we're going to take your right hand, palm faces towards you. You're going to bend your middle finger and your index finger down towards your palm, leaving your thumb, your ring finger, and your pinky up. We're going to go ahead and use the thumb to seal off the right nostril. Take an inhale through your left nostril. Hold it. Use your ring finger to seal the left nostril. Release your thumb from your right nostril and exhale through the right. Inhale through your right. Hold, seal the right nostril. Release the left and exhale. Inhale through the left. Seal the left. Release the right and exhale. Inhale through the right. Seal the right. Hold the breath in. And then exhale through the left. Inhale through the left. Hold the breath, seal the left nostril. Exhale through the right. Inhale through the right. Hold the breath, seal the right nostril. Release the left and exhale. One more time. Inhale through the left nostril. Hold the breath. Seal the left nostril. Release the right and exhale. Seal the right nostril. Hold the exhale. Release both nostrils. Take an inhale. And exhale. Go ahead, release that blanket from underneath the hips. And then go ahead and release yourself down onto your back, finding our final posture today, Shavasana. See if you can extend the legs out, release the hips, arms by your sides, palms face up. And we're we're going to just become very heavy in this Shavasana, this final posture today. So I want you to make your Shavasana as wide as you need it to be, as big as you need it to be today. If that means that the arms come up in line with the shoulders, the legs open a little wider, whatever that is. If you'd like to use one of your blankets to cover yourself over, go ahead and do that to stay a little warmer. Maybe even if rolling a blanket or using your bolster under your knees helps, then go ahead. Maybe taking a deep breath in through the nose and exhale through the mouth with a sigh. Let it all out. A couple of times. Just letting yourself be heavy. Feeling supported. Perhaps parting the lips. Letting the jaw relax a little bit. As you let go of any expectations on that breath and just allow yourself to let it happen naturally. Just enjoying these few minutes here in stillness. Seeing if you can remain present to everything around you. Perhaps taking in any sounds that you hear around you, letting them be a part of your practice. Perhaps maybe just noticing how the body feels against the mat. Noticing any different pressure points. Noticing the ease in the hips and the heart center and in the shoulders. Just continue to stay like this for as long as you need to. Remaining in this Shavasana, keeping yourself as present as you can. In the meantime, enjoy your Shavasana. Enjoy your Sunday. Until then, namaste.